they're addicted to that hot, steamy liquid,
liquid.
right? and but we may just like coffee,
Right.
okay? But
Well, I'm actually very moderate, so you will see that I come in, and then I think there's a lot of aspects to me in that place.
Right. So the thing is, are we addicted to the coffee? Are we addicted to the company, to the environment? Oh, see, so there's physiological addiction, there's psychological addiction, and then there's the actual substance creating a physiological craving for it. And so we have to look at all of those when we talk about marijuana and understand the personal one-to-one interaction. What is addictive for one may not be addictive for others, those sort of things. And so all of this has to be in the discussion. And what I say to folk all the time, are you not afraid that young people are going to do it? My take is, let's educate people. Let's educate people. If we can really show that marijuana has medicinal properties, one of the things that we can drive home to folk is, maybe this isn't something to use recreationally. All right? Because you wouldn't go and just take aspirin recreationally.
Right.
And so these are the discussions.
And the thing about it, with our population, if you tried to put some medication on them for anything, even hypertension, diabetes, they don't want it. But they will say, I will smoke marijuana, or I'll use marijuana every day.
Yeah.
And so it's the same type of thing. And obviously, if your body's craving it, if you want it every day, there has to be some relationship where it's affecting your brain and the way that you think and the way that you're acting.
Yeah. You know, I remember in my first year in pharmacy school, one of my professors always said, everything has an effect, a side effect, and a real effect. You have to know that what those three things are, when there's a difference, and how to deal with them. And so from our end, we need to make sure that we're having a frank discussion when we get the science on this with people. But we got to get the science first. And running away from the science doesn't help us. It doesn't help us, particularly when the world is running toward it.
Yes.
Jamaica has already decriminalized it and has a cannabis licensing authority to deal with the production and research for medicinal marijuana. Cayman last year authorized that the extracts and the oils can now be imported and sold. Okay, Antigua just a month ago went to decriminalization and is looking again toward medicinal use, and we see it moving throughout the region. It's coming. Is
So
the Bahamas prepared to stay in the
all
back?
going the other way. They're going recreational kind of first, and then or decriminalizing and then research. But you're advocating the other way around, which is what I totally agree with.
Yeah.
And I think even if we seem to be behind, if we take this approach, we will be.
We'll be
leaders.
ahead. We'll be ahead. See, now there's a reason why I can advocate that. Unlike a lot of people who may want to advocate that, but don't want to do it publicly because they're afraid to be called hypocrites. I don't smoke marijuana.
Right.
I've never smoked marijuana.
And neither have I.
So I can speak about it without having to worry about someone coming to point fingers and say, "Oh yeah, but you smoke weed."
You just want it for this particular reason, you know.
And I'm hoping that that's not the reason why some of the folk that maybe need to talk about this are stepping away from it. Listen, I know for a fact that marijuana use in this country is widespread. I grew up in a very, we'd call it the ghetto. Mm-hmm. Okay? And listen, I knew what marijuana smelled like before I knew what cream of wheat smelled like. Okay? So I understand that.
Right.
But we need to have an honest discussion and talk about these things. And I think, again, as long as it's being driven by the science, let the science own this. And that's what's important for us.
And I think that's an important point and a great point to kind of end on. I want to thank you, Dr. Marvin Smith. This has been excellent. What is your giveaway point? What do you want everybody to get out of this, at the end of the day?
Three things real quick. And I think this is universal to our approach as members of the Caribbean Association of Pharmacists and by extension the Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association. We want our people to own their health. It's your health. Okay? And the best way to own it is to get as much information as possible. Secondly, once you get that information, what are you going to do with it? Don't sit on it. And then thirdly, understand that public policy, which is enacted by governments, really should be driven by the public.
Yes.
It's your policy. So talk to your MP, talk to your senators, talk to your ministers, talk to the people in authority. Come talk to us and say, do we want more information? We want to see this driven, or I agree with this, or I disagree with this. But take an active part in something that can improve your health, something that is a social issue for us, and don't just sit back and let. I don't even want you to sit back and let us as scientists decide this. If it's going to be public policy, let the public have an input.
And let them educate themselves
Yes.
as well, because
Yes.
you don't want to go in there with just emotional views on something. It's up to you as a good citizen to get the facts for yourself,
Yes.
understand what you're advocating for, and so that you can go to your politicians with something that makes sense. You
Definitely.
know?
Definitely.
And so this has been an excellent talk with Dr. Marvin Smith, one of our head pharmacists, president of the Caribbean Association of Pharmacists. It's been excellent talking to you. This has been Let's Talk Health with Dr. Denotra Archer, brought to you today by Ashley's All Things Bahamian in Palmdale, as well as Cartwright's Electric. You can reach them at 376-7449. And if you want to reach me, Dr. D, you can reach me at 376-3911. Let's Talk Health. Thank you again, Dr. Smith. It was excellent having you. I think everyone has learned a lot of things.
Thank you for having me.
And let's get it done. I think we can. Once we continue to advocate for research and data, we will be the leading country on this. I believe we can do it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Rand.